Yesterday was the big day when it came to the CMA decision for the Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. They went ahead and they blocked this deal. And their reasoning for blocking the deal was because of cloud gaming. Even though Microsoft came out with multiple concessions for cloud gaming, offering up Call of Duty as well as the Activision catalog of games to other cloud services. And one thing they also did was offer these games to PlayStation Plus day and date. The CMA believes that the market would be better for competition if there was no merger, since it's a nascent market, and that the market would be able to just grow naturally without any big deal going through. So they went ahead and blocked the deal. Question a lot of people have now is, what is next? Is it completely finished? There's no deal. Can Microsoft do anything? And as we know, right away, Microsoft came out and they appealed. They're going to go and appeal this deal, which gives a little bit more hope for the deal. But I mean, you obviously never know what is going to happen. Right now, it is not looking very good, at least in the UK. Deal is officially blocked. So we can go with that as what is happening right now. But there is this article here that says analysts say Microsoft's Activision deal is not dead ahead of the UK appeal. And this comes again from analysts who, so far, I would say in the last little while, have been wrong as to what they thought was going to happen. A lot of analysts believe that this deal was going to get passed, and they believe that the CMA was going to make the approval decision today. Clearly, that is not what happened. But these are analysts from Wedbush Morgan and Ampere Analysis weighing in on the decision. And it says here that after months of investigation on Wednesday, the CMA became the first of the three major global regulators to publish final report on the $69 billion deal. And it said it was preventing the merger of Xbox and Call of Duty companies over its concerns it would alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming market, leading to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers over the years to come. Now, the thing with this is we could discuss this for in many different ways. My opinion is that with the concessions that Microsoft was offering, they were actually opening up cloud gaming to get more people access to these games via cloud gaming services with like the Boosteroid and Ubitus. In fact, even Boosteroid themselves came out and said, Boosteroid team and our users disagree with the CMA's decision against Microsoft's purchase of Activision. Our position on this issue is in line with that of Microsoft President Brad Smith. We hope for a quick resolution to this question. So they came out and they said they don't agree with this decision. They don't agree that it will be bad for these other companies, for the fast growing cloud gaming market. And they are a small company in the fast growing cloud gaming market. That's one against it. But also at the same time, take a look at what Microsoft could do if this deal is completely over. They're not dealing with it anymore. There's no more appeals. They've paid the $3 billion termination fee. They can then go out and make third-party deals now that will restrict access more so than with those 10-year deals that they had offered up as remedies for this deal to be approved. And I think that is overall a bad thing for gamers. I think that if this deal is officially dead, it will reduce access and restrict certain games that Microsoft goes out and makes deals with from not being on other cloud gaming services or on other platforms, because at that point you're not going to be able to play the game anymore of access to everybody. They have pretty much been told third party exclusive deals will be better for them to do going forward by this deal getting blocked. Now it says here in this report, the CMA argued that the merger would give Microsoft the incentive to increase the price of Game Pass commensurate with the value enhancement of adding Activision's valuable content to it. Now, they could increase the price of Game Pass. They haven't increased it yet with the Bethesda deal, all of that type of stuff. Would they go ahead and increase it? Who knows? They may decide to do it. And I said in my stream yesterday that I think reasonably, as a customer of the Game Pass service, price right now is insane for the value that we're getting for it. If they did raise the price, which I don't want them to, and I don't think it would be a good thing, but if they did, hypothetically, I don't think it would be an insane price range, and I don't think that it would be something that many consumers look at and think that it's Microsoft gouging their customers with the amount of value in there. But still, at the end of the day, obviously, as a consumer, we don't want them raising the prices. And they say even a modest price increase would significantly reduce or eliminate any potential relevant customer benefits. So take that for what you will, but I believe the value in Game Pass is extremely, extremely high at the current price that it is at. Now, here is where the analysts come in. And it is the famous analyst, Michael Patcher, for whatever you think about Michael Patcher. He has a lot of people, he has that meme that he gets everything wrong. And he is saying this. He says, in research notes sent to VGC, Patcher said the CMA had thrown a wrench into the process, but the deal isn't dead. He believes Microsoft can win the case on appeal, but even if it doesn't, he said the Xbox maker could still make concessions that would help clear the deal. Specifically quoted here saying, while successfully appealing a CMA decision is a difficult task for several reasons, we think the CMA is on the wrong side of the law on this ruling and believe its concerns can be addressed. Ultimately, the ruling hinges on the CMA's belief that Microsoft will have pricing power due to its market dominance in cloud gaming. We think that the CMA's belief is correct, and Microsoft erred in not addressing this issue before the CMA ruling. So agreeing here that hey, they could go and raise the prices, they can go and change the pricing, which it is true. They definitely could do that, and having so much value in the Game Pass service by adding all the Activision Blizzard games would incentivize them, give them an excuse, you could say, to tell customers we are raising the price of Game Pass by $5. But would they do that? That is the major question. And what they're saying here is they should have addressed that within all of the remedies and all of the talks that they have had with the CMA before this deal was actually decided upon. He says, however, we firmly believe that Microsoft is willing to concede maintaining a $15 per month plus inflation, and we believe the CMA will reverse this position if Microsoft makes that offer. Now, this would have to go through, I'm assuming, the appeal process. Like, I don't think they can just go ahead and reverse it. So, going through the appeal process is where that would have to happen. This here in a statement provided to VGC, Harding Roll said today's ruling was clearly a blow to Microsoft and Activision and their efforts to get the acquisition over the line, but the deal could still close this year. Historically, a majority of CMA appeals have been unsuccessful, but there still is a chance this can be overturned. According to the Competition Appeal Tribunal site, which is where they will be going, it says straightforward cases are aimed to be dealt with within 9 months, but often take at least a few. People are thinking that this could be pushed all the way until 2024, which, depending on where you lie on this entire thing, I think most people are fed up about hearing about this deal. They're fed up about Microsoft putting so much emphasis on the Activision Blizzard deal and so much focus on it, in the sense that I think people right now on the Xbox side of things want them to get back their entire focus on making their first party games currently the ones that they do have. My whole stance on this entire thing right now after the CMA's decision to block the deal is I don't even know if it is the best thing for this deal to continue to go forward. I'm thinking here, pay the $3 billion termination fee, take all of the money that they have, and just reinvest it into the current studios that they have, and make sure that the games that are releasing first party from Xbox are of the highest quality, are completely polished, are coming out and just blowing people away. Because that will do a lot more, I think, for Xbox in the long run than games like Call of Duty, than all of this other stuff. Sure, those games like Call of Duty will make them a ton of money, but for the brand, for the perception, for the consumers out there that are currently on the Xbox platform, getting their first party games to a level where there's no question when they come out of how high quality these games are going to be, I think is something that would be great for Microsoft to do now with all of that extra cash. Not that they shouldn't be doing it already, but they could completely put all of that focus plus all of that extra money into investing into the current first party studios. It says here, they continue on here saying, if the appeal is successful, it is then returned to the CMH review, which again will take some time. So we could be looking towards the end of the year if everything goes in favor of Microsoft and the Activision to close the deal. And should the appeal prove unsuccessful, Patcher said Microsoft could still win the CMA's approval by agreeing to keep Activision Blizzard titles off its Game Pass subscription service in UK. Specifically here saying it could separate Game Pass UK from Game Pass elsewhere, either by creating a separate entity in the UK that can easily be monitored by the CMA or by an appointed third party, or by merely managing the UK business separately. And says we expect that this will be sufficient for the CMA to rule that merger acceptable on the condition that Activision titles are not available on Game Pass. So that would be a very, very interesting move. I think a lot of that will be dependent on whether this deal gets approved in the EU and gets approved in the FTC. Then they can go ahead and think about how they're going to actually want to operate in the UK. So obviously, overall, you take a look at this. Yes, it got blocked yesterday, but there are still different paths forward that Microsoft can go down in order to get this deal passed if it is what they are really, really wanting to do. And it sounds like it is what they are really wanting to do because they've already said they are appealing. The other thing too, like I mentioned about the investment into their first parties, and right now where the Xbox fan base is at, is that the reality of the situation is Xbox is doing this for mobile. If you're a console gamer, if you're somebody who believes in their first party studios, this may be something that takes focus away from that stuff for a longer period of time. The hope is that that won't be the case. But if this continues to drag on, you never know. Continues on here and says Microsoft will agree to this condition subject to an appeal. Should it prevail, it captures full value from the acquisition. Should it fail, it captures most of the value, but its prospects for Game Pass growth in the UK, a low percentage of global GDP, will be limited due to lower amount of content available on the service. So essentially, what this here is saying that there are multiple paths forward. If the path forward gets accepted, where they just don't put Call of Duty, Activision titles on Game Pass, if you're living in the UK, you're going to be getting a worse Xbox product of less value because of the government, because the CMA came in and made the decision that they made. So that will be extremely frustrating, I think, for people who live in the UK. Finally, it says in a statement released after the CMA published its report, Activision Blizzard Bobby Kotick said the work on the appeal had already begun. No, they are appealing, and we will wait to see what happens. It isn't over, but the deal has been blocked. I am skeptical about the ways forward. I know analysts are saying that it isn't dead. Personally, the way I see it now is it is. That's the way I see it. It's blocked officially, and until we hear anything else going forward from the appeal, in my mind, and I think in everyone's mind right now, should assume that right now the Activision Blizzard deal, at least in the UK, has been blocked. It is not going to be moving forward. Never know, because like I said multiple times throughout this entire thing with Activision Blizzard, nobody knew if they were going to approve it or block it. There are so many different things that they were looking at. Specifically, cloud gaming was the biggest question mark, and obviously that was the one that put a stop to this deal in the UK. But I will leave that video here. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.